Good evening, everybody, and welcome to virtual Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, where tonight it is race 6 of 8 in the 2024 iACT Winter Warm-Up Series. I'm Nick Mumley, and alongside here in the broadcast booth, Michael Stridesberg. Michael, tonight we've got 100 laps at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, brought to you by Fast One Motorsports. Should be one heck of a race.
Indeed, as you've called it, this is the Darlington of short tracks. A tough old 0.6 of a mile track. The real Nashville Fairgrounds opened in the mid-1950s, still going strong today. And tonight we get to see the best of iACT on here for 100 green flags laps. And with 3 races left in the season, we've got quite a points battle coming down to it as well. So a lot on the line tonight here at virtual Nashville Fairgrounds.
And it should be fun. We got another full field of drivers as we get ready for the first of our 15-lap heat races here this evening. And Michael, as you can see, it looks like we've got Mike Young and Trent Goodrow making up the front row as they sit on pit road.
Indeed, Mike Young and Trent Goodrow. Goodrow, our number 3 point man, entering tonight. Got a big boost from his buddy Reagan Parent, subbed for him last night and won, which catapults him to 3rd in the standings, just 30 points out. Then in row 2, we've got Burt Duffy in car number 75, and the multi-time Thunder Road champion crew chief Andrew Hill is inside of row number 3. And sandwiched between them is the 20 of Corey Paya.
After Paya, we've got it's going to be Andrew Hill, and there's the number 2 point man. We've got Bob Eldred in the white and green 13 on the outside row of row number 3. Then bringing up the rear in this opening heat race, we've got Ethan Tyrell in the 23, Kyle Willis in the 43. Alan Young actually racing that machine here tonight. Kyle Willis on vacation in Florida. So Alan Young, a former competitor in the Strictly Minis at White Mountain. Now he works on the pit crew for Marcel Gravel at Thunder Road in the American Canadian Tour. He's going to make his season debut here tonight. He's going to roll off 8th in heat number 1.
This is the first of 3 scheduled qualifying heats here tonight. 15 laps straight up to set the starting field. So the winner of this race, unless it's Trent Goodrow, will start on the pole for tonight's Fast One Motorsports 100. And the green flag is out with Goodrow in the 31, wasting no time going to the lead off the outside.
There was big trouble at the start of this thing as it looked like Corey Paya just didn't grab a gear coming to green. As they come around, Goodrow off like a rocket, and Burt Duffy, as you see him go through the cloud of smoke off of the lap none incident there, coming to the green. Burt Duffy second. Andrew Hill is clearing in 3rd, but facing pressure from Ethan Tyrell and Mike Young.
Indeed, a tough break there for Corey Paya, back in action for the first time since the opener, currently on pit road, but on the track, the action is heated. Ethan Tyrell in the 23 takes a look to the inside of Andrew Hill, but cannot find it to the inside, has to fall back in line. Bob Eldred, the 13, looking him over as they get side by side again for the number 3 spot.
And here comes Tyrell on the inside, making an aggressive move here on Andrew Hill. Hill, the crew chief for Jason Corliss at Thunder Road in the ACT Tour, running the outside in the green and black, number 77. There's Bob Eldred. He's your number 2 point man, looking for a way through. Now, Michael, the last couple of weeks we've been talking about how, you got to finish in the top 5 to lock yourself into the show. Not tonight. Everybody's in, and they're just jockeying for position. No consies tonight. Should be a fun show.
Not just position, though, Nick. For Bob Eldred, something very important is on the line right now, and that is points. He came into tonight 13 points behind the 45 of Casey Beatty with 3 races left in the season as Andrew Hill gets out of shape in front of him. And that's going to be another spot for Bob Eldred. The points here on the iACT GossCars.com series, 10 points to the winner, 8 for second, and then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So Bob Eldred on the inside for 4th. That's a point right there, and he's close enough where every point matters in the battle for the championship as it comes to a head.
Yeah, but he's going to be wanting to run a lot better. As you see Mike Young go up there and make hard contact with the turn 2 wall there. He's going to bring it down to the inside and fall off the pace. Eldred is going to want to be better than 5th. We're going to see Casey Beatty here in a heat race or two, and Beatty's been running towards the front. Eldred's got to really have some strong runs here and put the efforts together in qualifying if he's going to make up the point gap. Just 3 races to go. There's no time to mess around for car number 13.
Indeed. In the last couple weeks, a bit of a struggle for him in qualifying. Had to go through the B feature one week to get to the main event. So definitely, we know he's got a fast car in the long feature events, but trying to make things happen in these shorter 15-lap heat races has not been able to get it done on the 77 of Andrew Hill. Hill making that outside line work around this 18-degree banking and continues to hold the 4th spot by a nose as the laps start to wind down in this one.
Yeah, 6 laps to go in this opening heat race. Eldred there on the inside. Got Hill on the top side and Alan Young in the 43. Let's go on board with him as it looks like Hill's going to settle for the 4th spot right now. Young here driving for Kyle Willis tonight. Pulls in behind, now makes a look down to the inside. He's going to try to force Eldred up the racetrack and smoothly run through 3 and 4 here. Keep that momentum on the inside lane. Eldred with the run off the corner, but keeping that inside line is going to be the 43 of Alan Young. Young still door to door now down the back stretch. They'll head back into turn 3. Young slowly working him over for the 5th position.
Alan Young was boxed in for most of that heat race. Now he's finally getting a chance to see what he can do. We are again seeing, though, this is definitely a 2-lane racetrack. A lot there up on the outside. Eldred, like Andrew Hill did to him before, able to use that momentum on the high line for now. As Young puts a nose up, but again you can see that strong run off the outside. They are nose to nose at the line with less than 2 laps to go, and things are starting to get tight up at the front, Nick, as the laps wind down.
Yeah, I think Trent Goodrow has kind of just been taking it easy with that car, and Bert Duffy, look how deep he's driving it into the corner. Duffy trying to make something happen in the 75 machine as he closes right in within a car length or 2 of Trent Goodrow in the 31. Goodrow trying to come out here and win the heat race. He's been out on a Sunday drive for most of these 15 laps, but now facing a little bit of pressure. Not going to really matter. Oh, unless Goodrow gets loose, which he does. Duffy gets there, but Goodrow wins the heat race. A photo finish. Goodrow nearly dumped it off the final corner. What a save there to hold on to that thing and come across the line first. He gets the Heat 1 victory.
Duffy has to settle for 2nd, Ethan Terrell 3rd, Andrew Hill 4th, and Kyle Willis does nose out the 13 of Bob Eldred at the line for 5th place. So unofficially 3 points for Bob Eldred. Not the result he was certainly looking for as he tries to gain ground on Casey Beatty. Now he's going to have to wait and see what he does later on in this one, as Heat 2 is now getting staged, as you can see from our pit view up here. Nick, let's head down there and start meeting the starting lineup for Heat number 2 of the Fast One Motorsports 100.
Yeah, on the front row, starting on the pole position for Heat number 2, that's going to be the 69 Strictly Mini competitor over at White Mountain Motorsports Park. That's Aiden Young in car 69. To his outside, Kyler Davis, who's cut his teeth at Thunder Road Racing in the street stocks. Starting 3rd tonight, racing for Justin Prescott, who is out tonight, is going to be Jake Grout in the 04. And to his outside, Ryan Nolan in car number 78, that green machine up on the top side of row number 2.
We have the 04 Vermont, 2nd time out this year inside of row number 3. That is Matt Smith, the longtime late model competitor at Thunder Road. Alongside him, sporting a new number this week, car number 7 this time out, it is Ty Delphia, the Thunder Road Flying Tiger competitor. Caden Fisher, a 1st and a 2nd place finish the last 2 weeks on the GossCars.com iRacing Series, goes inside the final row. And riding shotgun last year's White Mountain Motorsports Park Late Model Rookie of the Year is the 17 for Kyle Goodboo out of Lincoln, New Hampshire.
Pretty stacked field of competitors here in heat race number 2. Should be a good run to the checkered flag. They got 15 laps to get there. Who's going to get there first? Aiden Young inside. Kyler Davis topside. Then it's Grout and Nolan making up row 2. Green flag is out. We are racing in heat number 2 at Nashville.
Again, it's the outside getting the jump as, oh, we've got the 17 of Goodboo hard in the wall off turn 2 and then bounces down and hits the inside wall as well. Tough break early for the 17 of Goodboo as he falls way back in this one. At the front, they are still side by side for the top spot. The 69 of Aiden Young battling back on the inside of Kyler Davis.
Davis trying to hold strong in that 6 machine up on the top side. Aiden Young down low, looking to clear him now, but trying to get the run, can't clear him. You can see the effect of running that top side here. You can really get pedaling up there and keep your car to the outside of the driver down low. This time, though, Aiden Young's going to make the move, as now Grout will jump low in the Goss Cars Chevrolet number 04, slide it a little bit loose off of the wall there. He'll settle into third, while Matt Smith and Ryan Nolan, a pair of former late model competitors, battle for fourth.
Indeed, Ryan Nolan's been the hard luck kid this year as they slap doors entering turn number 3, and Caden Fisher gets into the back of Matt Smith. Everybody able to hold on to it, but that is going to be the break for Ryan Nolan as he gets the run off the outside and settles into the 4th spot here as we are 4 laps in to this 15-lap qualifier for the FastMotorsports.com 100.
You can see Grout there taking a peek underneath the 6 car of Kyler Davis. Davis going to settle back in line for now. Interested to see how Caden Fisher gets up through this field if he's able to. We saw him take advantage of the long runs at the end of the race last week at South Boston. Got up to the front of the field. Used the fact that that was a really long race last week. Long green flag runs, played right into Fisher's hands, but kind of like same deal with Bob Eldred. How does Fisher do in the short runs when he needs points? And Fisher missed the first couple of races, so he's not really in there in points, but still trying to get everything he can because he's trophy hunting here.
And he missed his exit off of turn 2 that last time, put a decent slap on the wall, but he gets right back on his horse, trying to chase down that 04 Smith, who's now thinking about ducking back inside the 78 Ryan Nolan, but could not find anything there. As we approach halfway, it's still the 69 of Aiden Young leading this thing, but the 6 of Kyler Davis and the 04 of Jake Grout are keeping the pressure on behind him.
Yeah, Grout has gotten himself all over Kyler Davis while Aiden Young kind of drives away. You can see that lead up to about a half second now as Davis falls into the clutches of Grout. Has to run up on the top side. Grout can't get the bottom to stick. Now Grout's going to try the top side, maybe try to diamond turns 1 and 2 a little bit to get that good exit off of the bottom. Just can't quite get it to work. He's still at the bumper, but unable to really advance through and make a move on Kyler Davis for second. They've got 5 to go.
And things are heating up behind him as well. The 18 of Fisher was able to get past the 04 of Matt Smith, who now falls back to the 7th position behind Ty Delphia. And now he has put the bullseye on the 78 of Ryan Nolan, looking high off of turn 4, just trying things out right now, figuring out what's going to work and what doesn't before the 100-lapper. And kicking a little sideways there. Definitely a few loose race cars, it looks like, early on in this one, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, you can watch these cars go through the corners, especially turns 1 and 2. This is not a smooth racetrack. It's super bumpy. So a lot of opportunities for that car to kind of be kicked up and unsettled. Look at this big bump that they'll go over there on the exit of turn 2, and you see it just kind of sends your car into a tail slide like it did for Caden Fisher right there. It's really easy to get up and slap the wall.
This track has been in its current configuration since, I believe, 1972, Nick. It was extended from half a mile to 0.6 of a mile in 1970. And at the time, it had 35 degrees of banking. They decided that was a little too fast a couple years later and knocked it down to 18. But as far as I know, this track has not been paved since then. And so iRacing, virtual racing reflects it. It's a very rough and tumble racetrack. And things are getting a little rough and tumble here on the final lap as they are side by side for the number 2 spot.
Yeah, Grout has made his move, coming to the flag. Aiden Young has got it if he can get off of 4. Oh, they make contact. Drag race to the finish. Who is it? Kyler Davis gets P2. Jake Grout 3rd. Ryan Nolan 4th. Delphia 5th in that one. Caden Fisher and all the rest as we come around for the third and final heat of the evening here from Nashville.
Indeed, once again, 15 laps to set the starting field straight up based on finishing position. And keep an eye on the final row in this one, as that is where our point leader, Casey Beatty, is going to start. But in the meantime, let's take a look towards the front of the field, as on the pole for this one, the 36 of Joel Hodgson, and alongside Nick, I don't know what it is about these drivers. They must be a superstitious lot, because it seems like every week I see a few new numbers, and this week it is the 11 of Remy Perot decides to put a new number on that thing. He will start outside of row 2, as the 36 of Joel Hodgson, you see, appears to be dropping to the rear or having some other problem with that 36 as we get going here.
Yeah, I think Joel's just going to the rear. Probably doesn't, have a ton of laps around Hickory here, so it's going to be interesting to see what he can do. I think he's looking to just ride around, log some laps. So that'll move Richie Murray up into the pole position there, driver from Rhode Island. He's had a couple of podium runs here, 2024. Row 2 is going to be the 03 of Nate Wenzel. And to his outside, Reese Bogue, who won the opening race of the year here in the iACT Tour. Casey Beatty is going to move up to 5th starting position in the 45. To his outside, Logan Powers, 31. And then it'll be Dylan Zulo and Joel Hodgson rounding out the field here. Your final qualifying heat race for tonight's Fast One Motorsports 100 at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Lights are off on the pace car. Pace car down on pit road. Murray and Perot getting set to lead us to green.
A lot of heavy hitters in this one, Nick, and one of them on the front row, the 8 of Richie Murray, wastes no time getting the jump off in the 8 machine, as he though is sideways, must have gotten a piece of that bump off of turn 2, able to get it back together though. Behind him they are side by side, the 03 Nathan Wenzel looking down low.
You see everybody trying to get some grip into their tires right now as Murray sets sail in front of the field. Wenzel there on the top side trying to hold off Beatty on the inside, but Casey Beatty trying to go from 5th to 2nd here in the opening laps as he tries to set himself up. You can see that car wanting to slide on him, getting it into a 4-wheel drift off of corner number 4. He'll settle in behind Wenzel. Logan Powers now will be quick to attack underneath, looking for 3rd.
Yeah. Beatty, though, able to hold on for now. Behind them, things side by side. The 4 of Reese Bogue was in contention for the championship. Unfortunately, had to miss last week's event, but he is back and looking to make up for lost time. Trying to do the 2-for-1 here, looking to the inside of the 11 of Remy Perot. Not able to find it there, drops it back in line in 6th. Behind him, up ahead of him, I should say, things starting to heat back up again for that 2nd spot.
As Beatty working on Wenzel once again. Richie Murray loves to see this. His lead's up to 0.6 of a second. Logan Powers doesn't really want to wait around. You can see him being ultra aggressive in the white and green 31 as Wenzel and Beatty make some contact. Beatty slides up the racetrack, and Wenzel's way loose off the corner. Here comes Logan Powers looking to jump at the opportunity, but for now it's Beatty through and clear for 2nd.
Beatty making a big statement right now in the point standings. Bob Eldred unfortunately wasn't able to get the finish he wanted in his heat race. Beatty looking to gain a nice chunk of ground here early in this heat race. It's a long way from over, though, with the 31 Logan Powers still trying to make that inside work. We see again, though, that outside line working very well to keep the run. The 03 of Nathan Wenzel, the reigning New Hampshire State Street Stock champion, able to hold on for now.
You see Wenzel just sliding all over the place off of the corners, having a tough time holding on to that car. You see Logan Powers down there on the inside. You can see him run over that giant, almost pothole at the end of the 2nd corner. And if you hit that thing wrong, it'll just shoot your car right up the racetrack. So you got to be super careful running side by side. And look at Wenzel. He's swatting flies on the interior of the SimCube Chevrolet, that 03 car. He's given up the spot, but I'm sure he's going to be happy to just not be wrecked at this point. He might just try to settle into 4th here and ride this thing out.
Indeed, as we have contact behind him for the number 5 spot. I mean, This is a track, Nick, where for even our man at RKM Setup Shop, it must be a challenge to get a car working right here because there are just so many little pieces of what we'll call character that can jump up and get you at any given moment.
But yeah, this track is super tough to drive, even with a great setup. I mean, these guys have a great setup, and you can see, I mean, nobody's really had any issues actually losing their car. They're able to hold on to them, and I think a big reason in that is because of the RKM setup sets that are in the chassis of these things. Allowing these cars to still run at high speeds. You can run right on the edge of disaster without actually having disaster, right? Like we saw that with Wenzel right there. Car getting as loose as you can see a car get, but Nate was able to hold on to it. That's a testament to these RKM setups that are really helping give these drivers some stability at an otherwise very, very treacherous racetrack.
Indeed, as we go inside here of the 4 of Reese Bogue, just look at how hard his hands are working inside that car. Just that, I mean, look at that. You never want to be turning the car even a little bit to the right on an oval track, but this track's so tricky. It's loose, and then suddenly it's tight, and just working it as hard as he can, and working it now to the inside of Remy Perot as we get inside of 2 laps to go.
And it's tough to feel, too, right? Like, I mean, these guys are used to having the feeling of the race car, whether loose or tight, kind of in their seat of their pants as they drive around. On iRacing, unless you got one of those $20,000 motion rigs, which I don't think anybody in the field today is using, but you have to really rely on what you're seeing with your eyes and the feeling in the steering wheel. As Richie Murray is going to come off of turn number 4, he had a pretty easy drive in this one. He takes the 3rd and final heat race win. Casey Beatti, Logan Powers, Reese Bogue, Remy Perot, Dylan Zulo, Nate Wenzel, and Joel Hodgson round out your field here in heat number 3. And Michael, we are getting ready here for feature time. 5 minutes away as we're moving quickly on this Monday night here. It's time to remind you of our sponsors here on the iACT Winter Warm-Up Series.
Indeed, tonight's event is sponsored by Fast One Motorsports of Middlesex, Vermont. For years, Pete Dudo at Fast One Motorsports has been not just one of the premier crew chiefs and crewman, currently the brainchild behind the Bobby Therian 5X operation, but he has been supplying parts for racers all throughout Vermont, New Hampshire, New York. If there's a part you can think of for your late model, your Flying Tiger, your street stock, they have it at Fast One, and if they somehow don't have it, they'll have it for you before you know it, in time for the next race. Go down there, pay Pete a visit. They've got everything. They've got good prices. They've got good service. They are the place to go in Central Vermont if you need race car parts and you need them fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Pete and the guys down there at the shop, I mean, they're class acts, 100%. And they put the thing about Fast One Motorsports is that they put their products and the stuff that they sell, they put that to the test. They kind of lead by example too, right? I mean, yeah, sure, you can get your body panels from them, you can get your chassis parts from them, any sort of accessories that you need. But they're going to put on a good example of what to do, especially at the late models on the ACT Tour at Thunder Road. I mean, Bobby Therian, such an accomplished driver at Thunder Road. Pete Dudo, the crew chief and car owner over there, owner of Fast One Motorsports. He's been doing this forever. I mean, you go back to the days with Phil Scott, right? I mean, these guys have been doing this for a long, long time. I mean, hey, the governor of Vermont trusts them for their stuff over at Fast One Motorsports. Why shouldn't you?
Indeed, so make sure to visit them. They're at 46 3 Mile Bridge Road in Middlesex, Vermont, open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. You can also give them a call at 802-223-5888 for all your needs. And of course, the series itself, the iACT Winter Warm-Up Series, is brought to you by GossCars.com, your premier automotive dealer of the South Burlington, Vermont, and Champlain, New York area. Make sure to give them a visit, whether it's Goss Dodge, Chrysler, Ram, Jeep, Fiat on the Shelburne Road in South Burlington, or Goss Chevrolet up in Champlain, or of course online at gosscars.com. A premier dealer, full service, parts, everything else you need. They will get you in a great car, whether it's a new little Fiat for going to a track day and turning some laps, whether it's a Jeep for exploring the many trails and off-road spots of the Northeast, whether it's a Dodge for everyday driving, whether it's a Ram truck for all your work needs. They have got the right car for you. I mean, Nick, I can still remember the old TV and radio jingle, the go, 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 Goss has got it. And they do. So make sure to pay them a visit.
That was tremendous. Oh my God. That brought back some memories right there. They might have to bring back that jingle. Oh, I like that. And you nailed it, too. Good job. Good job. The last sponsor that we got to talk about here tonight, we already mentioned him a little bit in that heat race, but RKM Setup Shop, Ryan Kuhn, obviously a very, very good competitor. He's won the past championship. He's won the ACT Rookie of the Year. Ben, he's probably should have had an ACT race win or two, but a couple of them slipped away. But either way, I mean, when he shows up to the racetrack, he is a threat to win no matter what. And the same is true, if not to more extent, when he's on iRacing. And so he has taken his talents as a world-class iRacer and started RKM Setup Shop. They provide setups for iRacing. They update it every single week. When the new tracks come out, the new setups are available from RKM Setup Shop. We are super proud and excited to have the RKM setups in these iACT late model stock machines that are racing here tonight and all season long. They've put on great racing, and they've allowed the drivers to keep things straight and put on a good show. I mean, Michael, the last few weeks we've seen some great green flag runs, super long stretches where there haven't been any yellow flags, and that's just a testament to the RKM Setup Shop setups that are under the hood of these things.
Indeed, and we are about to see him go to work. The field is now staging for the Fast One Motorsports.com 100. And currently, the 31 of Trent Goodrow is scheduled to go on the front row. Officially a last week's winner, part of that sub deal with his friend Reagan Parent, so we'll see if he's dropping to the rear under the previous winner rule. But as of now, the 31 of Trent Goodrow is on the front row alongside the strictly stock mini competitor Aiden Young after a strong win in Heat 2. Row number 2, the 8 of Richie Murray, a multi-podium finisher already this year, as we see the 31 of Goodrow pulling down. And then alongside him, we have the 75, that's the Warrior competitor from Thunder Road, Mr. Burt Duffy.
Then we've got Kyler Davis in the 6 to his outside. That is your points leader. Casey Beatty's going to get a prime starting position after a couple of tough races that he's had to fight the last couple of events while still growing his points lead. It has not been easy for him. Tonight he gets a good starting spot, P6. On the inside of him is going to be Ethan Tyrell in the 23. Then on the inside of the next row, we got Logan Powers, the white and green 31 to his outside. Jake Grout in the Goss Chevrolet, number 04 Vermont.
The 78 of Ryan Nolan, the hard luck kid of the 2024 GossCars.com iACT season, goes next. And alongside the champion crew chief Andrew Hale in car number 77. The 43 tonight being driven by Alan Young in a substitute role for Kyle Willis. And then alongside him, we have the former point leader this season. That is the 4 of Reese Bogue.
After Reese Bogue back there, we have on the inside, that's the 11, Remy Perot. Then the 7 is Ty Delphia. Then we have Caden Fisher, 18, Bob Eldred, 13, Dylan Zulo, Matt Smith, and Corey Paya round out the field. We're racing it here tonight at Nashville as Murray gets the jump.
Richie Murray, the Rhode Island standout, goes to the lead. The 69 of Aiden Young Looked like he was going to try to draw a beat on him, but he is falling into the clutches of Kyler Davis. The 6 on the inside, the 69 on the outside, going at it for the number 2 position.
Davis is off with, or Murray is off with the lead. Davis looking for second. We saw Kyler running really strong in his heat race. Now he's through to second. Ethan Tyrell looking to move on as well in the white and orange 23. Now fighting side by side with fellow White Mountain competitor Aiden Young in the 69. Tyrell's going to get the spot. Burt Duffy, the Warrior driver from Thunder Road, moves down underneath looking for fourth.
Interesting here early in this one, Nick. The outside was working very well in the heat races, but so far in the feature early on, the inside seems to be having the run. The 69 of Aiden Young is not able to get it up to speed yet, and he's right now taking the 45 of Casey Beatty with him.
Yeah, Beatty is sliding backwards on the outside right now. We talked about that good starting position for the 45. Now, I mean, he might be trying to find a lane down to the bottom right now. As Young gets out of the way, we'll see if Beatty can make anything work on the top. But it's going to be tough for him, as I think it might take a few laps for this outside lane to come in. I think you got to see some wear on these tires, get some rubber going up there. And now we see Beatty getting to use that outside lane a little bit, and he's kind of making it work in the 45. We'll see if that's just him having a strong car, or if everybody's going to be able to get up there and make moves on the top as well.
Well, the important thing is we're going to check in the battle back here as the camera decided to go a little wonky, but the important thing for someone like Casey Beatty is going to be patience. He comes in unofficially this race having extended his point lead to 18. He knows that the 13 Bob Eldred, who we're looking at now, didn't have a good heat race in his stack back in the field, and he knows it's a 100-lap race. He has no reason to force the issue early on. He's just got to focus on finding his groove and getting set up so that he's in a position to be a contender at the end of 100 laps.
Yeah, absolutely. Is Eldred, you see, working through there against Andrew Hill in 77. Caden Fisher down there as well. Fisher is way back outside of the top 10 currently, still trying to make something happen here as this race rolls on. You see Fisher back in 13th, back up towards the front of the field. You see these guys, perhaps a battle for the lead developing here as Ethan Tyrell has worked his way to the back bumper of the 8 of Richie Murray.
Indeed, Ethan Tyrell led a lot early this year at Oxford, but unfortunately fell by the wayside about a third of the way through that one. Wants it back tonight. He's going to take a peek to the outside of Richie Murray as we ride along, and then try the crossover move off of turn number 2. The 8 of Richie Murray able to hold him at bay now, but the 23 of Ethan Tyrell, the Dwarf Car and Flying Tiger competitor, again looking strong early here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway.
And Tyrell using some patience right now, just right to the back bumper. Maybe trying to intimidate Richie Murray just a little bit as they come off the corner. Tyrell might try to sneak the nose down in there going into 3. Murray's just going to give him the spot, I think. Oh, and a little bit of a bump to the back. We'll see what's going on here. 23 is going to be to the lead. Murray won't try the crossover. Richie Murray's just going to settle into second. He says, Ethan Tyrell, you want to go out there, run a lot of laps and run hard on those tires? Go for it. I'll be perfectly fine sitting in second.
Yeah, that tap may have been just a message saying, hey, I'm letting you have this now, but don't expect it on the shoe to be on the other foot with 10 laps to go. As behind him, the 45, Casey Beatty, has found his rhythm and is making some moves. He's gotten to the inside of the 6 of Kyler Davis and taken over the 3rd spot. And not too far behind him, the 04 tonight of Jake Grout starting to make some waves as well. He is up to the number 7 position in that AH Fence Goss Cars machine.
Jake Grout running for Justin Prescott tonight as he runs in 7th position on the racetrack. Aiden Young behind him now working on Logan Powers, trying to stay in touch with the 31. You can see a little bit of a slide there from the 04 Grout. He ran well in his heat race. I'm interested in seeing how Jake does in the long green flag runs. He's proved himself very capable as an iRacer here. I think over the course of this winter, he's put together some really strong runs. in a couple of different series. And we haven't gotten to see him, obviously, in iACT because he's not an ACT competitor, but getting to run, for Justin tonight. Thank him for stepping up and taking the flag for Prescott as we continue to roll around here. 17 laps complete now, and it's still Ethan Tyrell out in front. Casey Beatty, though, starting to calculate some decisions. Will he make a move for second place on Richie Murray?
He is all over the 8 machine like a shadow as they head into turn number 3. Looks to the outside, peeks to the inside, may just be sizing him up right now, knows there's no need to force the issue, was still less than 20 laps complete in this 100-lapper. But make no mistake, the 45 Casey Beatty, the defending White Mountain Motorsports Park King of the Mountain, is strong again in race number 6 of the season.
Yeah, Beatty's just been so impressive all season long, putting together good run after good run. Even when it's not his night, he finds a way to take a positive out of it, as we see caution flag number 1 come out here on lap number 20 at the 1/5 mark of the Fast One Motorsports 100. We find our first yellow of the evening.
Indeed. Yellow flag already out in this one. Not entirely sure what happened there, but the caution has come out here with 21 laps on the board, and now we see what happens. Nick, do you think it's too early for drivers to start considering pit stops?
Yeah, I mean, you think about at this point, you're going to use your tires. You get one set of tires, additional sets, other than the ones you start the race on. I'm kind of similar to last week at Sobo when we were waiting until like lap 80 or beyond that to make your tire change. I'm probably not going to change tires, hopefully, until around lap 50 or 60. But, I mean, kicking off the race with a 20-lap green flag run, the race is a fifth of the way over now. So, how are these guys going to, decide their tire strategies when, you're not going to pit under green? Can you catch a yellow at the right time? Because you don't want to wait until lap 80 and be stuck out in a, 60-lap green flag run right here. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, but I don't think we'll see anybody come in other than drivers that have damage or who are involved in that crash.
Okay, we will take you quickly through the field then as they continue to circle under caution. The 23 Ethan Terrell is your winner as they double up and get ready to go back racing here. A relatively short caution. He will take the inside with the 8 of Richie Murray along the outside. The 45 Casey Beatty runs third. Then the 6 of Kyler Davis in fourth. Burt Duffy, the 75 strong early, is running in fifth. The 31 of Logan Powers in sixth. Then it's Jake Grout in the 04, 69 Aiden Young, the 78 Ryan Nolan, and the 4 of Reese Bogue. Just outside your top 10 is the 13 of Bob Eldred and 12, your number 2 point man, as we get ready to go back green.
Tyrell and Murray going to lead us to the green flag. Murray's going to get a good jump on the top side. We'll see if he can settle in underneath the 23 of Tyrell. Tyrell not driving away on this restart. Murray with the advantage now off of corner number 2 and down the backstretch.
What an impressive move there on the restart by the 31 of Logan Powers. Swaps lanes, or past Duffy inside of Kyler Davis looking for the 4th spot. Didn't get a great run off of turn 4 there, but Logan Powers making an aggressive move there, seeing the opportunity to pick up some positions.
Yeah, and you see it's kind of pandemonium back here as Powers slides up the track a little bit, leaves the door open for Reese Bogue. As back up front, Tyrell is under attack now for second place. Oh, and he gets into Murray and spins him out.
Oh, man.
Calamity in turn number 1 as Ethan Tyrell spins the race leader.
Oh, man. Let's back that up there, Nick. I mean, I think I know what happened there, but let's take a look and see if we can see what happened here as with the cam heading into turn number 1.
Well, let's see. Murray's down there, and yeah, he Can't make the corner with your back tires off the ground there, Mike.
Yeah, I did notice the 8 of Richie Murray did take kind of a low line in there, kind of went to the inside before in the turner, and perhaps Terrell just maybe not expecting him to be down there, but either way, it ends with contact, and the 8 of Richie Murray sliding to the wall. Very fortunate that the rest of the field was able to avoid him there.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see now, Murray down on pit road. And a tough break for his day here on lap number 24 as we had just gotten going on the restart.
And you can see it looks like the word from race control is the 23 of Terrell being sent to the rear for that contact with the 8 of Richie Murray, which means that Casey Beatty, through no fault of his own, the point leader, has inherited the lead here on lap 23.
And the rest of the field collectively says, "Are you kidding me?"
Oh, yeah, indeed. I mean, he's been strong all year. 1 win, a slew of top 5 finishes, just a really consistent performer. And now he finds his way at the front. But again, still a long way to go in this one, Nick. We're likely going to have pit stops at some point. You know, can't count all the chickens just yet, but certainly a good start early on for the 45.
Well, and Beatty's got to be loving this too, because you think about it, all year long, you know, he has not had the benefit of track position at the beginning of these races, right? Like, he's had to come all the way up through the back of the field just about every week in this thing. You remember he went to the B feature one week. You know, he's had the previous winter penalty. He's had another couple of qualifying runs that didn't go his way. So it's kept him from starting up front. You know, he has not had an opportunity to be up front running in the lead at the lap 25 mark really at all this season. So I don't think since the first race up in Loudon. So he's got to be excited about this. But I'll tell you, don't count out that 6-car Kyler Davis. He's been really impressive to me. And so has the third-place car Logan Powers, 31. Those 3 guys have really shown a lot of speed here in the first 24 laps.
Indeed, Logan Powers coming off back-to-back top 5 finishes. And Nick, if you think back to the second race of the season at Oxford, you know, things got a little interesting between this 45 and the 31 in the closing laps of that one. It's probably too early to be thinking about that, but put that in your back pocket as we get farther into this one.
Yeah, absolutely. So 24 laps in the books. We'll come around to start lap number 25 here. As the lights are down on the iRacing pace car field, getting back up double file. Do we have an update on Richie Murray? I don't see him in the field.
Well, the ticker is listing him as out, but at the same time, the ticker has listed people as out of the race before that were actually in it. So we're going to have to wait and see, but it's not a good sign that we don't yet see him on the racetrack as we are going back green. It is the 6 of Kyler Davis getting the jump on the outside.
Now look at this, going 2-3 wide in the middle of the field there as Davis gets the jump topside, fighting back against Casey Beatty.
Beatty down low, Davis up high, and putting himself into the picture is the 4 of Reese Bogue. Feature winner already this season, was in contention for the championship before having to miss last week's race. The 4 of Reese Bogue is strong early up to 4th, but ahead of him, though, it's getting heated. Now a 3-car battle for the top spot. Nick, we are going to go inside here with the 31 of Logan Powers and take a look at what he's seeing as we duke it out here.
As they fight side by side, Beatty there on the inside, and you can see the 6-car of Kyler Davis clear into the lead. And Logan Powers is able to take the inside lane here. Powers into second. Who would have thought that we were going to see Casey Beatty drop all the way back to third on this restart? But the outside lane, we talked about how it was going to start to come in as these tires just, began to wear out. We're at that point of the race now, 25-ish laps in. We're getting towards the end of a tire cycle. These things are going to start to wear down, and you see cars spinning in the back of the field. See if it brings out a yellow here.
Well, we are staying green so far. Everybody looks like they've gotten sorted out. We do see the 8 of Richie Murray. It looks like the 03 of Wenzel may have gotten into the wall. You see some heavy damage on that thing. but we are going to stay green and head back to the front of the field. Oh, right in time for some trouble, as it looks like it's Jake Grout and Aiden Young getting together, and that will bring out the caution here on lap number 29.
Yes, it will. So that is our third caution here in the last 9 laps. You know what they say, Larry Mack?
Cautions breed cautions.
So we'll take a look back here with our fantastic replay feature. Yep. Looks like a couple guys running for the same spot. Aiden Young's against the wall. He can't go up any higher. Jake Grouch just kind of runs out of real estate. Hey, look, Ryan Nolan missed a wreck.
Oh, man. He has got to be counting his lucky stars right now.
Yep. As Grouch spins it. That's a pretty simple one. A little bit of contact. I think Grouch just came up the racetrack. Maybe didn't realize the 69 was right there on his outside and gets that thing around. And see here if Grout comes in, takes tires on this thing after just putting his on a nice little slide down the front stretch.
Yeah, we do see the 03 of Wenzel in the pits as well. No surprise after that trouble he had. Oh, looks like no tires going on the 04, at least not yet. So maybe he's decided it might be a little too early.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to completely change my tone from 10 laps ago where I said absolutely not, but I still think it's a little early to come in and pit. But, you know, you never know what these guys might try to decide. But, yeah, I think we're kind of seeing the tires start to wear out at about this point here, 30 laps in. So you don't want to be stuck lap 60 with 40 laps still to go, you know, with tires that are all worn out and still 40 laps left. So still a little bit of a ways here before the pit stop. We'll see, you know, if we get green flag racing again or if the yellows keep coming. As we get closer and closer to that halfway mark, that's, you know, we're going to be watching for everybody to come down pit road.
Indeed, we're certainly not expecting anything like what happened at Bristol yesterday with the severe tire wear there, but definitely a track where fresh rubber is an advantage, and you just gotta time it right, is what it amounts to.
Sure do.
We'll take a quick look through the field here as we're getting ready to go back racing. You notice driver up to 5th spot is the 13 of Bob Eldred, your number 2 points man. Again, not the qualifying effort he was hoping for, but that 13 and that driver in that car races very well, and he currently finds himself sitting in the number 5 spot as we are a little less than a third of the way this one. And also we're going to check in on our number 3 point man. That is the 31 of Trent Goodrow. Had to go to the end of the field to start the feature, as technically he was last week's winner, even though it was Reagan Parent behind the virtual cockpit. He's gotten his way up to about mid-pack now in that 31, not rushing anything. I wouldn't be surprised if that 31 isn't up towards the front, though, before too much longer.
Yeah, these restarts are only going to help him, too. You know, bunch the field back up, give you an opportunity to, you know, get around some cars. Maybe somebody gets stuck behind a slower car. You can get around both of them. You know, he doesn't, if I'm Trent Goodrow, you know, you don't want to see a bunch of long runs here tonight.
Interesting move here at the front. The 6 of Kyler Davis is going to elect to take the outside with the leader's choice on the restart, and that's where he will fire off from as we take the green with 30 laps into this one. The 31 of Logan Powers, though, definitely hanging tough on the bottom.
Yeah, Powers has made his money on the inside, but I don't blame Kyler for taking the top there. You know, we saw him get around Beatty on the last restart. We've seen him making some moves up there throughout the day to get up front. That 6 car is really, really strong tonight. And
we got trouble in the back, Nick. The 16 of Dylan Zulo going around on the front straightaway.
There's our 4th caution as Zulo spins it right at the start-finish line. We'll see if we can go back here and check out what happened to the Claremont Motorsports Park competitor.
Indeed, I do believe the 16 of Zulo may have pitted in the last caution as well, but that does get you back in the field. And take a look, Nick. What do we see here off turn 4?
He's chasing that car, and yeah, he just kind of slides up. That car, you know, he's out of control with it. It's to the point where he's chasing the steering up the racetrack, kind of like Denny Hamlin at Phoenix a couple weeks ago. If there's any NASCAR fans in here that are that watched that race, kind of chases steering up the racetrack, just slides into the 31 of Goodrow, and around he goes. Single car spin.
Indeed. What do they say, Larry Mack?
Cautions breed cautions.
Unfortunately, a little bit of a tough sledding here in the middle stages of this race, but we will re-rack them and look to get back going. And Nick, as we've been saying, we're getting down to it. After this week, we've only got 2 more races left in the GossCars.com iRacing season. It feels like just yesterday we started, and now we're only got 2 shows left, man.
Yeah, we are right down to it. March 25th, next Monday night, we are at Thompson for 75 laps. That should be a fun race. Ripping the top up there, high banking, long straightaways, high speeds. Thompson's a fun track. Obviously one of our own up here in the Northeast. And then April 1st, as the calendar turns to April, we get closer and closer to the Northeast Classic to kick off the 2024 American Canadian Tour season. We race North Wilkesboro for 150 laps to crown our champion. Will it be Casey Beatty? Will it be Bob Eldred? Will somebody else step up and make something happen and steal the show? North Wilkesboro coming up on April 1st. It's 2 Mondays from now at 8 p.m. right here on the American Canadian Tour YouTube channel. 150 laps to decide the champion here 2 weeks from tonight.
Indeed, that is going to be a fun race. It will be the old North Wilkesboro. The real North Wilkesboro was paved this past off season, but it's still going to be the old beat up pavement in the virtual North Wilkesboro racing. That is going to be another race where it's all going to be about managing the car, making sure you're there at the end of 150 laps, which works out to almost 100 miles, Nick. That is a very long race by ACT standards.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, you want to know what it's like to have a stubborn race car that doesn't want to respond to anything that you try to tell it to do. Get 60, 70 laps into a run on one set of tires at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Even with the RKM setups, those cars are not going to be fun to drive.
Maybe we should make that one a 10-tire race just to make things interesting.
Well, I want to see. I want to see these guys. That's when these races get fun for me. Is when are these guys? Who is driving up through the field like Caden Fisher did last week at Sobo? 60 laps into a run. That's what's most entertaining to me.
Indeed. Well, we're gonna find out here if anyone can make a run as the green flag is back out here in the Fast One Motorsports Run 100. Kyler Davis again picking the inside, but Logan Powers with a fantastic restart, able to clear him off at turn number 2.
Well, Powers knew he had to drive it deep into the corner there to get up in front of Kyler Davis to complete that pass. Davis, we've seen how that car comes in on the top side, comes down and slaps the 4 Reese Bogue a little bit. Beatty sliding back. Here comes Bob Eldred in the 13. This restart is exactly what the doctor ordered for car number 13 as he moves side by side with his championship contender, Casey Beatty, looking for position number 4.
Bob Eldred knows that if he wants to gain ground on Casey Beatty, he has got to work hard in this feature. He's got to outdrive him or out-strategy him or something. And right now he's working on that first part. Unfortunately, they're not able to quite get the inside, but he is now going to try the outside as the 6 of Kyler Davis is backsliding on this run here, Nick.
Yeah, Davis putting that car on the inside. It's just not seeming to work for him. You wonder if, you get into another heat cycle for these tires after, so many stops and starts that maybe the set that he's got on now just is not doing the job for him. As Beatty's up to 3rd, Bob Eldred still fighting for 4th, working on Davis. It's kind of a 3-car train for the lead with Logan Powers up front. Bogue and Beatty trying to close in for first place.
Behind him, the 13 of Eldred takes over the 4th spot, and not too far behind, Nick, is the guy who did something like this last week, just very slowly and methodically worked his way through the field. The 18 of the Tropical Storm Caden Fisher is up to 8th as we near the 40 lap mark and looking for more on the back bumper of Ryan Nolan.
Caden Fisher driving his way up through the field. You can see changing lanes dramatically and making his way up through here, as he has every week that he's run in this series. He missed the first 2 races, kind of kicked him out of points, but I mean, man, you look at the 3 times that he's run this year. You go back to Hickory, was leading the race and then ran into an instant points penalty, had to pit from the lead, coming to a green-white checkered. Then he wins the next week. Then he finishes second to Reagan Parent in a very close race last week. His caution flag out here, 5th flag caution of the day, as Fisher there up to 8th place. And see what might have happened here to put us under our 5th yellow.
Unfortunately, not entirely sure what happened. We picked the blimp view at exactly the wrong time there, Nick, to see what was happening in the back of the field. But the long and the short of it is that the caution is out on 39 laps complete. Do you think now, Nick, we might be getting into the mo? The 45 of Beatty faked a pit row, but has decided against it for now.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're still... I don't want to be in a spot where the last 20 laps of my race are miserable, right? Like, I want to put myself in a position where I can drive the car and win the race in the last 20 laps. So, you know, and we've seen the cautions start to pick up a little bit. The last 20 laps, we've had 5 of them. So I'm kind of banking on it here that, you know, this isn't going to be the last yellow flag of the race. The first caution flag on lap 20, I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, you know, maybe we might not see too many yellows here. Now we're starting to see them a little bit more regularly. I'm waiting, hopefully, to lap 60 to come and get tires and get a good 40-lap run at the end of it. But, you know, you also got to beat all your competitors, too. You know, you don't want a bunch of guys in front of you to give up their track position on lap 50, come in to do their pit stops, get their tires, just for you to go on the next caution and get stuck behind them, right? Track position is going to be important here too, because as we've seen, you know, passing is not impossible, but it also takes a couple of laps to get around a guy here.
Indeed. Timing is going to be everything in this one as we look to go back to green. The 31 of Power is going to take the outside. Then we got Casey Beatty, Reese Bogue, Bob Eldred, Kyler Davis, and Andrew Hill. The top 6 as we go back to green. It's the 31 of Powers away with it up top, but Casey Beatty not giving up on the inside group.
Oh, and they're going to touch a little bit there off of turn number 2. That's the most vulnerable part of the racetrack. Beatty gets up there, blocks the 13 of Bob Eldred. Oh, and there's trouble behind him. Andrew Hill, who I was just going to say, having such a strong run, and I think they might have all kept it straight. We're still green flag racing here.
Indeed, the 77 of Andrew Hill with contact, but Abe drops back to the field but keeps it going. We stay green, but it is heated in front of him. 2 wide, 3 wide. Everybody looking for real estate.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see the 23 of Tyrell has worked his way back into the top 10 here. Kyle Goodboot, who we really haven't heard from a lot, has ran really strong in this series. You see Trent Goodrow in the 31 car behind them with the pinstripe down the middle. It's been a fun race so far, and a lot of drivers moving around, a lot of aggressive moves, and of course everybody's fighting this racetrack.
Indeed. We've seen a lot of cars picking up what I'm going to start calling the Nashville stripe off of turn 2, where it just jumps out and kisses the wall just a little bit. We'll call it short track's version of the Darlington stripe, but everybody so far able to keep the fenders pointed in the right direction. At the front, it is a 2-man dance for the lead. Logan Powers has it, but Casey Beatty is not letting him get away in that 45 machine.
You see Beatty got to the wall there a little bit off of 4, getting his Nashville stripe. And
saw trouble in the back.
Caution flag is out. 6th one of the night.
It looks like it's the 8 of Richie Murray, unfortunately getting a piece of the wall. We'll back it up here and see if we can figure out what happened here. Richie Murray ended up at the rear earlier, and ooh.
Oh.
Looked like to me like the '04 Jake Grout got a little loose off the corner, and when he chased it down the track, the 8 of Richie Murray unfortunately was there.
Yeah, that's just a tough break for Richie Murray. He had such a good car up in the front of this race earlier on. Got taken out there in the opening part of this race and was trying to make his way back up. Just got caught up in somebody else's mess there, and that's going to be the end of his night. There's no coming back from hitting the wall head on like that.
Well, Nick, I did see we do have at least one car on pit road. It looks like the 23 of Ethan Tyrell has decided to be the first of our leaders to come in and make a pit stop here.
Yeah, I mean, 46 is kind of right on that line, right? And you see, maybe Richie Murray's right here again. We'll see. I mean, that's a lot of damage for the 8 car to take. I mean, doesn't show a lot, but we got the 77, the 23 down on pit road here. I like this move. We'll see what the difference is between everybody else coming in and pitting to Tyrell here. But it's a risk worth taking when you're running 10th and at the halfway point, and you've shown that you have speed to run in the top 5 and run for the lead.
Yeah, exactly. I think if you had been running around 15th all night, maybe it's a little more desperate move. But we've seen the 23 of Terrell, the 77 of Andrew Hill. They're fast. Unfortunately, circumstances have put him back in the field. So now here's a potentially time to short pit, knowing that they have a good car, and potentially get up front and hang on. Of course, the danger, Nick, is you put yourself back in the field again where trouble might be a little more likely to find you.
Yeah, and I mean, you're also more susceptible to using up your stuff early to get up through the field. I mean, if I'm Ethan Tyrell, I'm saying, I'm just going to go, 75, 80% here. Let everybody else come in and pit, and I'm going to place a bet. Him doing this right now is, he either wants this race to go all the way without another caution or have another caution within the next 5 to 10 laps.
Mm-hmm. It also did appear that the 66 of Mike Young took tires on that pit stop as well, so we will see what happens with them as we get farther into this race. In the meantime, again, it's Powers and Beatty on the front row taking the green flag.
Powers again gets the jump on the outside in the white and green 31. Beatty in the CSV Racing number 45. Oh, and they touch. Look at everybody sliding off of the corner here. I think these tires really starting to go away for these guys. As Bob Eldred now pops up topside. Look at that car all the way back in the field. I think that was Joel Hodgson. We could see the right side door number on that thing coming off the corner. He was so sideways. These guys are holding on right now as we approach the halfway point.
Yep, and we're starting to see some more wrinkles here. You could see there from that angle, the nose on the 18 of Fisher is punched in a little bit. We see a few fenders caved in. I mean, it's starting to look like if they've spent 48 laps on a short track, Nick, and we're going to see who just not has enough tire, but who has enough car left at the end of this race.
Hey, don't look now, but look who's in P4 right now.
The 78 of Ryan Nolan. I hope he didn't jinx it there, Nick.
Ryan Nolan, he has shown so much speed in this series this year, but unfortunately, I think he's gotten caught up in a wreck in every single race. I mean, they have just found him this year. He's been totally unlucky. Here he is, though, 4th place at lap 50. This is exactly where you want to be this time of race, and we'll see what he can do here as this race goes on.
Indeed, and 2 spots in front of him is the 13 of Bob Eldred, your number 2 points man, up to 2nd on the track. Strong again in this one. Unfortunately, Beatty in the 45 right behind him in 3rd, but, as a racer, all you can do is get the best finish you can, and that is what Bob Eldred is working on as he looks to be very slowly but surely tracking down the 13 of Logan Powers. At the same time, though, the 45 of Beatty is looking to his inside, keeping the pressure on.
Yeah, I mean, Casey at this point in the race, I think he's shown that he has a top 3 car. I don't know if he has a winning car, but, he's having just another good points night here. As this caution flag comes out once again, we see car spinning off of turn number 2. It looks like Bert Duffy Jake Grout might be involved as well.
Indeed. We'll back it up here, but we're not going to spend too long, Nick, because we are getting closer to when we might be seeing some pit stops. We will very quickly see if we can figure out what happened here. Oh! We see the 75, but then it looks like it's the 31 of Goodrow losing it into turn 1.
Yeah, and then Grout gets hooked, goes around. Yeah, I think these guys are going to be ready to take some tires. Here they come.
Look at that, but the 13 of Eldred and the 31 Powers stay out, but almost everyone behind them comes in.
It's going to be interesting. That'll give Tyrell third on relatively brand new tires, right? Like, I mean, they're 7 laps old at this point. So, the move paid off for Ethan Tyrell as these guys go into pit road here. We'll see who wins the race off.
And you've also got to wonder now, Nick, what is the strategy for the 31 and the 13 staying out on this caution? They must be thinking another caution's gonna come out soon, right?
They've got to be. I mean, they're going to be sitting ducks here on this restart, I do believe. I mean, we saw everybody just. I mean, the tires are basically ice skates at this point on this old surface. I mean, 52 laps is a lot to ask out of them. I'm feeling a little bit scared right now if I'm the 31 and the 13, but we'll see. Logan and Bob, both very good iRacers and drivers in real life too. But Ethan Tyrell, we know he's going to be aggressive from third. He wants to, make the most out of this short pit that has kind of paid off for him, giving him that track position back after he got the EOL there on lap 20. But there's going to be a lot of really, really fast race cars behind the 31 and the 13 here, and it starts with that 23 car in third.
We're taking a look at our battle box here to confirm pit laps. As you can see, the Powers and Eldred have not pitted. The 4 cars behind them pitted on lap 45. Tyrell, Hill, Young. Murray did pit then, but not sure if he took tires then or not. And the 31 of Goodrow looks like he has stayed out under this caution, trying to do a little game of his own here since he spun out, going to try and get the track position out by not pitting and hoping another quick caution comes out. So our first car that pitted on this one appears to be the 45 of Casey Viatti, who is restarting in the 8th position.
Yep, and it's going to be a mad dash to the front for these guys. Kyler Davis, Caden Fisher. This is a good spot for them to gain some track position here in this restart. We'll see what happens. Green flag back out. Logan Powers, Bob Eldred on old tires take the restart. Andrew Hill and Ethan Tyrell make up row 2. They're off turn number 2, a little bit loose there. And they are driving away here, at least to open this run.
Well, it looked like that third row, the 8 of Murray and the 66 of Young, are just not quite up to speed right now. Obviously, with crash damage, understandable, but right now that means they are boxing in the rest of the field, allowing Powers to get away. Oh, we got trouble in the back.
Oh, Ryan Nolan.
You jinxed it, Nick.
Oh, my goodness, I jinxed it.
Oh, man. And this can happen when you've got a bunch of drivers on fresh tires and they know they've got a jockey for position, is that you can end up running into trouble. Let's see what happens here off of turn 2, Nick.
Well, let's take a look. Everything is good here. I bet you somebody's going to get loose off the corner. Oh, no, Nolan kind of hooked the 04 Matt Smith into Kyler Davis. Davis keeps it straight. See Reese Bogue take evasive action. You see
some hard hits for Jake Grout, for Alan Young, and another hard hit there for Nolan. Yeah, just might have been maybe the 78 took a little shallower line off the turn trying to avoid the wall. Maybe the 04 came up a little bit. Just wrong place, wrong time, racing deal that can happen. And the snake eyes come up for Ryan Nolan once again, unfortunately.
Man, just bad luck for that 78 car all season long as we roll around under caution here. And we'll see what happens with Logan Powers and the 13 of Eldred here. Will they pit? Will they stay out? For them right now, the call is to stay out. And they do.
because when you pit, you want to have at least a little bit of a tire advantage over the drivers who previously pitted, and 2 or 3 laps, Nick, I just don't think is going to give you enough of that advantage as we get our camera speed situated there. But yeah, I think they're hoping to get a caution around or between laps 70 and 80, possibly that range, so that they can have a good 20 laps or so fresher tires to work with as they're coming back through the field.
Yeah, I mean, you got to make it worthwhile at this point. And as long as you're running up front, as long as those other guys aren't getting around you, why not? They got a good jump on that restart. We saw them get good luck with the third line kind of backing up. Let's see what they can do here. 55 laps complete out of 100 here tonight. Eldred, Logan Powers, your leaders. Everyone behind them has fresh tires. 55 lap old tires here on this front row. It's going to make for another interesting restart. I'm feeling.
We can tell you, Nick, the 8 of Richie Murray did pit under that caution, so that's going to put the 45 of Casey Beatty as the freshest tire to position ratio on the field. As we go back green here, the 31 and the 13 lead them down.
Here they go down into turn 1. Ethan Tyrell's going to try to get that jump with those new tires there on the outside. Powers is to the race lead. They're under a little bit more pressure this time on the jump as Eldred there gets to the inside. See Tyrell, they'll lose a little bit of ground. Oh! Spinning down to the inside, Mike Young. Again.
It looked we may have had dueling spins there, Nick, as we're going to back it up and take a look at what happened. But remember what Larry Mack says.
I'll do his accent this time. Cautions breed cautions.
Indeed. So yeah, Nick. If we take a look here, it looks like we're going to have dual incidents at the same time here.
Yeah.
As you see, the 17 and the 36 get together in the back, as the same time as the 66 of Young gets loose off of turn 4 and collects the 31 of Trent Goodrow.
I think Goodrow might have helped him just a little bit. I don't know if the 66 slowed up there a little bit or what was going on, but yeah, and there they go. And your third place points, man. Trent Goodrow involved in this 9th caution of the day.
Indeed. Obviously had to start at the rear because of the winner's penalty that his friend Reagan Parent incurred for him, and was making some progress early, but trouble has been finding him here in the recent stages of this event.
Sure has. As we roll under our 9th yellow flag here, we see some cars coming down pit road here, but not your leaders. Logan Powers, Bob Eldred will continue to stay out here, and like you said, Michael, this is the smart call at this point in the race.
Again, you need to get some more laps on it. We do see the 31 of Goodrow, though, taking tires under this caution, probably figuring after getting some more flat spots on him, now at this point he's got to do something. But again, the 31 and the 13 are going to let it ride for now, obviously hoping they get a better timing on the caution, but at some point they will have to make their move.
And here's a question for you, Mike. If you're the 31 and the 13 right now, do you want a little bit of a green flag run till, let's say, lap 70, and then hope caution comes out around lap 70? Let those guys get some laps at speed on their tires here, or do you want to just keep riding around under caution here? Let some time waste away, allow yourselves to stay in the lead, see what happens here. Because the longer that we keep going stop and start, the less time that the guys with fresh tires are going to have to settle in and make some moves.
I also think it depends on what's happening with the tires on each heat cycle. Are the tires getting a noticeable fall off after each heat cycle? If that's the case, you want to keep cycling through caution so that the newness advantage wears off. But if there's not a whole lot of fall off, maybe you do want that little bit of that green flag run before you finally duck it into pit road.
And that's what we're going to be watching. Casey Beatty, though, that 45, he is up to 4th. We'll see if he can get a good jump on this restart and take control of this race as we go back to green. Lap number 57. It's Powers and Eldred again, your race leaders.
Bob Eldred with a strong restart has the nose up on the inside in the 13, but Logan Powers making that high line work comes right back at him. They will go door to door off a turn 4. The 45 of Casey Beatty looking him over in the 45. Let's go inside with Casey Beatty and see what his view is of this battle for the lead.
You can see those cars bouncing around as they run through the bumps there in turn 2. They're going to get single file now. That's going to be good for Logan Powers, not so good for Bob Eldred. You know, it gives Beatty an opportunity. If I'm both of these drivers, protect the bottom. You know, try to keep yourself down there. Make Beatty make the move with the fresh tires on the outside. Make that car get kind of loose up there. See what happens. But Eldred might be looking for the lead now. I don't think he wants to have Beatty breathing down his neck at this juncture.
Indeed. Part of it is he knows that he's got to gain as many points as he can and make a move while he can. But he's also got to remember that if he's going side by side with the 31, he's going to be working those tires harder and, you know, end up with even less grip, which could potentially hurt him if we end up with another long green flag run here. But
here he
goes.
Comes
to the inside in turn number 1.
They're going to get back side by side here on lap number 61. Beatty settling in. We see Kyler Davis getting loose. Caden Fisher's back into the top 5 as they are door to door, side by side off of corner number 4. Beatty settling in third, waiting for an opportunity to make his move. Tyrell joining the fray as well in the 23.
And this is certainly one way to keep the cars with fresh tires from getting by you, is to just go side by side in front of them as they are going at it hard for the lead. Off the corner, the 13 of Eldred might have had the nose. It looks like unofficially he did lead that lap. The 31 Powers, though, not giving up. And here comes the 23 of Ethan Terrell getting back into it on the inside.
Yeah, Powers got out of the gas right there. Beatty had to jump out as well, and it ruined his exit off of turn number 2. Tyrell now able to get even, maybe even with like a little bit of an advantage. Now he's going to slide it in on Logan Powers. Powers unable to keep that car going on the top side. Bob Eldred, meanwhile, driving off with the lead as the battle now trying to finally break through for these fresher tire drivers as Logan Powers trying to hold on the top.
Logan Powers did so well on that outside earlier, but now with 65 laps and counting on tires, it's not quite enough for him to hold on. The 23 of Ethan Terrell is by. The 45 of Casey Beatty following him through, and here comes the 18 of Caden Fisher as well. As Logan Powers is getting the freight train, at this point, he's got to be thinking caution, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you were hoping that lap 70 or 80 mark, you could get a yellow flag, come in, get new tires. So we're getting close to it right now. But how about Bob Eldred? I mean, he's kind of maintaining that gap right now, about 0.3 of a second, bouncing from 3 to 4 tenths. I'm interested to see what happens here as Tyrell and Beatty continue to work him over. They're battling for position here to try to be the first driver to Eldred. Eldred trying to maintain the gap to hold on to the lead, knowing that we're coming up on 30 laps to go here.
Indeed, and Eldred is, he's got to try and save at least a little bit here in case a caution never does come out, but at the same time, he knows that whoa!
My goodness.
What happened, Nick?
Oh,
man.
There's cars all over the place. We came off the corner. Reese Bogue was flying through the air. Nate Wenzel there is Kyle Busching his way around the racetrack going backwards.
Oh, boy.
I think these guys just ran out of room. Oh, yeah, 3 wide into the corner with Logan Powers. Powers kind of holds his line. Wenzel gets the right hook, and Reese Bogue is going to get into the wall and get just... Look at him, all 4 tires off the ground on the 4 car.
Well, Logan Powers wanted a caution, but he didn't want to be the caution, that's for sure.
Oh, and Ryan Nolan got hooked into there, because why not?
Oh, boy. Burt Duffy piling in underneath the 4. That looks like Alan Young got a little piece of it. A big calamity erupting here. And we see the 31 of Powers, no surprise, is in the pits after that one. And it looks like the 13, though, of Bob Eldred is staying out.
Bob, I think, is just going to run these tires. He might just run the whole race on one set of tires at this point. I
Well, we've
mean,
also got to remember a few of these guys may have just jumped to the pits, but we'll take a look here as they come around. Nope, Eldred, the 13, is going to stay out again. Maybe he's feeling like as long as he's got the lead, he's just going to go with what he's got.
yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough now because you're going to have fresh tires on the inside of you or the outside of you, depending on where you pick the restart. We would assume the outside. Um, but, we'll see. I mean, Bob has been able to. He's the only one that's been able to hold them off now. But, I mean, the longer you run on these tires, the harder of a task it's going to be. Even as the tires, behind them start to wear down a little bit, your tires don't stop getting any older, right? So, and they're going to continue to fade and fade and fade. And, hey, maybe Bob Eldred's taken really good care of his stuff through this race, but still, I mean, this is a lot to ask on one set on this old, abrasive, bumpy racetrack. It's tough to hold on to a set of tires here. 70 laps, I mean, I can't imagine what Eldred is dealing with right now, but man, I mean, you just keep going back to the RKM setups here. I don't think there's another setup in this game where you could run 70 laps on a set of tires here and maintain the lead.
Yeah, and obviously, as long as he's leading, it makes the decision much easier to stay out because you can set the tone of the race. You can run the line you want to put the least amount of wear on the tires and get it most stable. So it'll be interesting to see, one, if he can hold on here in the restart, and two, if he does succumb on the restart, what he does if a caution comes around. But looks like they are doubling up and getting ready to go back racing.
Eldred will choose the outside. It's going to be the 23 at Tyrell on the inside. And then you've got Casey Beatty and Caden Fisher there running third and fourth. We've got Kyler Davis blinking a little bit back there in fifth. And holding on to sixth. Is that Kyle Goodboo in the 17? Has he worked his way all the way up?
Indeed. We were talking earlier about how we weren't quite getting the showing we thought we might, but he has managed to, at least for the most part, avoid a lot of this carnage and finds himself up to 6 as we go back racing.
Here we go once again. Green flag back out, and a beautiful start for Eldred on the outside, getting the jump and clearing the 23.
Bob Eldred leads him down the backstretch, and he takes the Tropical Storm with him up the outside. Caden Fisher up to the number 2 spot. The 17 of Kyle Goodboo trying to make it roll around the high groove as well. He is side by side with Casey Beatty, who has not reacted well on the inside on this restart, but now he's trying to fight back.
Yeah, Beatty, I think, kind of getting held up there by the 23 a little bit. 23 did not get a good restart. And they make contact off the corner. What a save by Beatty, driving that thing down in there, but he's going to lose a ton of track position as Fisher makes the move underneath Bob Eldred for the lead.
Caden Fisher ducks to the inside. The 13 of Eldred going to try and hold on the high groove. They are wheel to wheel coming off the corner. The 13 of Eldred holds on by a nose at the line, and he has got to make it work on the outside because the train is lining up down low. Yeah,
and you don't want to have the same fate Logan Powers did where you just get freight trained and then ultimately force 3 wide and then you get tore up, right? And Eldred, look at him fight back on the top side here. He might have led that lap last time around. I mean, he is holding on here. This is an impressive run from your second place point man, Bob Eldred, proving why he's P2 in points tonight.
And they are getting stacked up behind him, though, as it happens. Casey Beatty fighting back on the high side. The 23 of Ethan Terrell filling the hole down low. And the 17 Goodboo, 6 of Kyler Davis trying to make it a 6-car battle as we are getting ready to hit the 3/4 mark in this Fast One Motorsports 100. The 13 of Eldred almost in the 3rd groove out there, but making it work so far as they lean on each other off the corner.
You can see Fisher's giving him less and less room up there on the top side every lap around. He wants to complete this. Ooh. Oh, and they get into each other. There's contact up at the front. They're going to be 3 wide for the lead down the backstretch. Casey Beatty trying to get in there as well. Does Fisher get away with it? He might.
Oh, man. Caden Fisher comes out of it with the lead. Casey Beatty with a very astute lift there to avoid disaster. But the result of it is the 18 of Fisher leading and side by side for second. What a moment there for these drivers at the front.
My goodness, and Eldred comes out of this still in second place.
Indeed, he is really putting yeoman's work, and now put some pressure on the 18 of Fisher. They're getting into the corner. The 13 of Eldred may not be done yet in this one.
And I'll tell you, Bob's earned himself one. If he can get back to the bumper of the 18 there, he's got a free pass because Fisher ran him right up the racetrack there on the last corner to cause that three-wide melee. So, I mean, I don't know if Bob Eldred can catch him, but Caden Fisher better hope that he can't.
Indeed. We saw Casey Beatty pick up another Nashville stripe off there in turn 4, but he is working hard on that high groove. Secures the third spot from the 23 of Ethan Terrell, and now he switches lanes, go to the inside. He will take his shot at the number 2 point man. Can't hold it, has to go fall back in line off of turn 2.
And you think about this crazy day it's been for Bob Eldred, where he's been super impressive running up front, and he looks back there, and Casey Beatty's one spot behind him, fighting him for the second position on the racetrack. I mean, that's just got to be so frustrating for Bob because he's had such a good day, but you know it might come out as null at the end of it with Beatty here running him down and looking for the position.
Yeah, because of how the heat race points shake out, it's entirely possible that Eldred could finish ahead of Beatty in the feature and still lose points on the day, which would be a very, very sobering thought for him. But right now, Beatty is back to the inside trying to take the number 2 spot.
Beatty looks like he is going to get it now, trying to set his sights for Caden Fisher, but Bob Eldred just keeps fighting back there on the top. Beatty, though, is going to clear him this time. Kyler Davis going to try to go for third here as Eldred continues on these old tires. 81 laps of them. 81 laps now, about to be 82 laps on the tires for Bob Eldred. Looks like they might be finally giving way here as he loses his spot on the podium. Kyler Davis going to sneak his way through into third, and here comes the 23 of Ethan Terrell as well.
Indeed, it was definitely a calculated risk by the 13 to stay out, and he was looking good for a while, but unfortunately it may be starting to go away for him finally as he is feeling the heat from Terrell and Goodboo. As we got a caution though here with 17 laps to go.
Caution flag back out, 17 to go. We'll see. I mean, Bob Eldred's got nothing to lose now but to pit. Don't see what could have caused this. Looks like there's some tire smoke down the front straightaway.
Not quite able to see what happened there, unfortunately. I do see the 03 of Nathan Wenzel coming into the pit road. He has been on and off pit road all day and overshoots his pit stall there just for good measure. It's been that kind of day for Nathan Wenzel. As we will now see what these drivers do with 17 laps to go, and there he is. Bob Eldred is now going to take it to the pits in the 13.
I mean, you might as well at this point get fresh tires, see what they'll do for you, try to work it back in here and try to salvage a good points day out of it. Man, a really strong effort from him, but just down the stretch, tires ultimately gave way on that 13 machine. As you see, he is down and away from the pits. But Michael, we are set up here for, I think, the 2 fastest cars that we've seen week in and week out in this series. Caden Fisher, Casey Beatty, 2 of the young guns on the ACT Tour. Both of them will be running for ACT Rookie of the Year honors this year. I mean, wow, this should be a lot of fun.
Indeed. I mean, last year, Casey Beatty won the championship at White Mountain as long as the Walsford Platinum Series, and Caden Fisher came up about 4 points short of winning the championship at Thunder Road as a rookie. These drivers, even at a young age, are very, very strong racers, very smart, calculated racers as well, and we're going to see what they can do over the final 16 laps in this Fast One Motorsports 100.
Absolutely. I mean, we're looking at 2 of the next up kind of stars of American Canadian Tour racing here, getting ready to start in beside each other here for the finish of this race, but you can't count out Kyler Davis, can't count out Ethan Tyrrell either. I mean, both those drivers have had really strong runs, and that fight for the podium tonight, I think there's going to be some drivers that are deserving of the post race interviews here tonight. They won't get one because the field has been just so competitive here this evening.
And Nick, I want you to take a look at who is up to the number 6 spot in this race. It is the 8 of Richie Murray.
Yeah, I mean, can we count him out either? I mean, my goodness, he showed a lot of strength early on in the day. Obviously had a couple of problems, got involved in that wreck. Now, here he comes in position to possibly make something happen here. Could he get his 3rd podium of the year here?
It's entirely possible. He lines up 6 on the restart. We can also update you on a couple of other cars. The 31 of Trent Goodrow, the 31 Mass has worked his way back up to the 10th spot after pitting on a recent caution. The 31 of Logan Powers a few rows back, a lot of damage on that machine. And then you got the 13 of Bob Eldred. Will have the freshest tires in the field, but only 16 laps to use them. What can he do out of the back of the field?
Well, here we go, folks. Buckle up. This is going to be a fun one down to the finish. Caden Fisher, Casey Beatty. Who's it going to be in the Fast One Motorsports 100? Fisher gets a huge jump and is going to drive away down the backstretch and into turn 3. Beatty is going to have to worry about Ethan Tyrrell there on the outside making a move, and Richie Murray right behind him.
Casey Beatty with a slide job in there as we've got
we got a
spin
car
on
around
the front straightaway, Nick, to bring out the caution. It's the 75 of Burt Duffy looping it off of turn 4. We'll take a look here and see if what we can figure out what happened to the 75 here on this restart. Oh, it looks like he just lost it off of turn 4, Nick.
Yeah, lost it by himself. You get a couple laps before the heat really gets into these tires here. It makes it difficult. Very easy to have the car jump around on you coming off the corners here.
And what I was going to say on a related note before that caution came out, we've seen it time and again that the 45 of Beatty just does not fire well off the inside on these restarts. We've seen him lose 2 or 3 positions on the inside before he can get it going. He'd actually made a very good slide job off of turn 4 to hold on to that 2nd spot in front of Tyrrell, but now he's going to have to go to the bottom and try it again with our score forward system that we use here on iACT. That lap was completed, so he's going to have 14 laps to go now when the green flag comes back out.
Yeah, and just another chance after a not so great restart. Learn, figure out what you did wrong on that last restart. How can you improve on it here, and we'll get back to going.
And no, don't count out the 13 of Bob Eldred if this continues, because he picked up 3 spots in 2 laps there thanks to the caution. Let's see what he can do here on this next restart.
15 laps to go. Fisher, Beatty take us to green. Good jump this time for Casey Beatty. They're going to be even here off the corner. Can Beatty kind of nose ahead? He might be able to. There's a little bit of contact. And we'll see if Beatty can get that car down there and fight with Fisher on the inside. This is tight quarters racing as we come up on 13 laps to go. Beatty will settle into 2nd. And here comes Kyler Davis looking for 3rd.
Indeed, 6 of Kyler Davis has been strong all night long, uses that outside and has the 3rd spot. Lean on each other a bit in 3 and 4, but Davis is away with it, and Kyle Goodboe continuing his late race charge, looking to drive up the outside alongside the 23 of Tyrrell.
Yeah, it looks like the outside is where you want to be right now. We saw it work out for Kyler Davis. We saw it work out for Caden Fisher. Fisher's just running the top, when there's nobody to pass. And I think that's the smart way to do it. That's where the speed is right now. You leave that door open for Beatty, let him think that there's something there. But, in reality, force him to pass you. Oh, Murray and Bob Eldred get together. Caution flag back out.
Indeed, we were just going to take a look at the 13 of Bob Eldred as he made his way back through, but gets a little bit of trouble right there. Yeah, you can see the 13 of Eldred is just flying up the outside
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
that
new
he didn't
tires against
realize he
old
was gonna.
tires.
Yeah, I don't think Murray realized the 13 of Eldred was going to be coming up the outside that quickly, and they make contact off of turn two. The 13 of Eldred able to keep it going, but does lose several spots there.
Yep. Yeah, that's a tough break, and I mean that's part of what happens when you have such fresher tires, and we know how fast Eldred has been tonight. But I mean, don't look now. Where is he being scored now?
Unofficially being scored in the seventh position
Seventh
with
spot.
10
Yeah.
laps to go.
Oh boy, he could become a factor in this. Before this thing is through, I mean, they keep giving him caution flags, and he keeps saying, "Okay, thank you very much." He could be right back up here by the time this thing's down to the checkered flag.
Indeed, but he is running out of time. We're gonna have 10 laps to go when this comes out. Not even the length of a heat race. This is when we're gonna really find out what these drivers have digging down deep. As some of these drivers, Eldred has fresher tires, but most of these guys have between, we're going to say, about 35 and 45 laps in their tires. The handling's approaching where it was in the middle of the race. We got a lot of bent sheet metal, possibly a little toe knocked in or out here and there. But they're just going to have to pull up their bootstraps and see what they can do over these final 10 circuits.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch here. Caden Fisher, I mean, he's looking, and Casey Beatty too. I mean, both these guys looking to become two-time winners on the 2024 iACT Tour. This is gonna be a lot of fun to watch here as they come down. Green flag out once again. Fisher might have gotten a little bit of a better jump, but Beatty's gonna drive it deep in there. He knows he's gotta try to stay to the inside of Fisher here with 10 laps to go.
Indeed, 5 races, 5 different winners. These top two trying to break the streak. Terrell Davis looking to extend it, and you see the 13 of Eldred taking a look to the inside of Kyle Goodboo there, trying to find a way as we got trouble behind them.
Caution flag back out. For the 14th time, we'll re-rack him and try it again here.
Looks like it may have been the 66 of Mike Young going around there. And
oh,
look.
That's a tough one.
Well, let's.
Yeah, 7 just walked up the track and got him.
Indeed. Just an unfortunate break there. Mike Young was having a very solid night in that Monster Energy car, but finds himself pointing the wrong way inside of 10 laps to go. He's going to have to try again from the rear.
Yep.
And now Casey Beatty has gotten another crack at the inside, trying to figure out what works. And, I mean, is there anything else different at this point than that he can try?
I mean, I think we saw him try it out there a little bit on the last restart. And I think that he can try to take that second lane from Caden Fisher. Do the same thing Fisher did to Bob Eldred. I mean, say, hey, my car runs better in the second lane. I'm going to take it. You can have the third lane if you want to be on my outside. But good luck, right? So I think that's all Beatty can do. I mean, that's kind of the restart, the evolution of the restart with lane choice that we've seen gives that second place car an opportunity on tracks that are outside dominant. But here we go. Green flag is out. 8 laps to go this time. Beatty and Fisher once again run side by side. Beatty's going to keep it down on the low lane, and they're going to be even down the backstretch here into turn number 3. As Beatty and Fisher continue to fight for the spot, they make some contact off of turn number 4.
Both of them able to hold on to it. That does allow the 6 of Kyler Davis to close up on him. And here comes Beatty. He gets a run off in the middle of the corner, but back comes Caden Fisher on the top.
What a run that was from Casey Beatty there, but Fisher fighting back topside. Kyler Davis waiting, hoping that a mistake is made between the top two as they fight side by side into the corner again. Beatty walks it up the track. He caught the apron on entry, and now they're still side by side. Beatty still with the edge. Can he walk up there and try to clear him? Oh, Fisher gets into the back of him. Beatty spins out, and the caution flag back out.
Oh, my. Oh, it all comes apart inside of 5 laps to go. Oh, man.
And they were wearing each other out up there. And that's exactly what Bob Eldred wanted to see. I'll tell you that for free. Beatty just slides up. He lost. He couldn't get it planted on the entry. Slid right up. I can't blame Fisher right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but the 45 knew he had to go aggressively in turn three. Three walks up the track a little. But the 18 does get into the back of him, and they go around with 4 laps to go. And by rule, because contact with the leader, the 18 of Fisher does join Beatty at the rear.
Oh my goodness! Get your popcorn, folks. Look at this. This is utter chaos to end this thing. Bob Eldred's in 4th. We'll point that out.
Yeah, I mean, I did say...
We could say the strategy has worked out for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a fast car, he's gotten a few good breaks, and now he finds himself in 4th, but he's still got 3 very strong cars to pass. Kyler Davis, top points driver, the 23 of Terrell, has been strong all night. Kyle Goodboo has had a couple of opportunities at the win. And even if you look at the guys behind him, Dylan Zulo, the 16, a podium finisher just a couple of weeks ago, and Aiden Young, the 69, has very quietly had himself a solid iACT series, 3 top 10 finishes, and sits 6, and the 31 of Trent Goodrow up to 7th as well. Some crazy stuff is developing, some drivers getting some shine, and now 5 laps to decide the Fast One Motorsports 100. Nick, any predictions?
Oh, I think I think the chaos has not ended just yet.
We're gonna find out. Green flag is out. The 6 of Davis chooses the outside. The 23 of Terrell, though, puts the nose up. Back comes Davis on the high groove as Eldred kisses the wall off at turn 4, but he gets right back on his horse.
Couldn't have that. 5 laps to go. Davis with the advantage in the 6. He pushes around the top side and clears the 23 of Ethan Tyrell. Side by side for 3rd place behind him. Eldred looking for the spot. On the top side of him is Goodboo. As Eldred trying to gain every point that he can, knowing that the season's coming right down to it here. Just 2 races to go after tonight. He'll settle into 4th. 3 laps to go.
And behind him, they are 3 wide with Fisher and Beatty trying to force their way back through the field. Trying to get around the 7 of Delphia. Look at them slash their way, but time is running out. They're coming to 2 laps to go for Kyler Davis.
Kyler Davis out in front. Tyrell in 2nd. Goodboo settling into 3rd, trying to hold off the fresh tires of Bob Eldred. Does Tyrell have one final trick up the sleeve to try to get an iACT Tour win here? Eldred back underneath, looking for that final podium spot. White flag is out.
Final time. That right there, that side-by-side is what Kyler Davis wanted to see. He has just got to hit his marks as we see Beatty leaning on Delphia behind him. At the front, though, checker flag coming out is going to be Kyler Davis winning the Fast One Motorsports 100. Terrell in 2nd, and it looks like the 13 of Eldred edges out Goodboo at the line. Aiden Young coming across the line in 5th to complete an absolutely wild feature at the virtual Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway.
Are you not entertained? My goodness. What a race. And Kyler Davis, he's run strong all year long, had some bad lucks, gotten in some unlucky incidents throughout the year. It's kind of kept him out of the points chase, but he's been here every week, and he has raced really well every week. Nice to see him finally get to victory lane. And Bob Eldred, I mean, that story tonight is just unbelievable, and what looked like was going to be a not-so-great night for him in the points ends up being a huge night because Beatty finishes 8th. Eldred gets up there in 3rd. That's going to be 10 points for Bob Eldred here as an overall gain in the point standings. It's going to be a fun final 2 races here as we wait on our top 3 finishers to join us here. Michael, I mean, can you even put it into words about what we saw here tonight?
I can't. I'm really hoping that a couple of our top 3 drivers are going to be able to, Nick, because that was an absolutely wild show. It was one of those like one of those books or movies where every time you think they got it figured out, they throw another twist at you, and I loved every second of it.
Absolutely. Let's start with our third place finisher, Bob Eldred. Here, I mean, Bob, where do we even begin? You run 82 laps, I think, on on one set of tires, and then in the final 18, you drive from the back of the field all the way back up to the podium, and you turn what could have been a disastrous points night for you into a positive. You finish third and gain some points in the process. Take us through your day.
That should absolutely never have happened. I swore at lap 86 when I ended up having to pit. I swore that I was done. I had nothing for Casey. I was hoping I was going to be able to run the entire race. Casey was my main concern. Obviously, the others I'm worried about losing the race to, but Casey and I are tight in points at the moment, and I was trying to do something to hold up with him, and I saw him come up through the field, and I thought it was over. I didn't think there was enough time at the end there, so I am nothing but happy with how that went.
Yeah, Bob. I mean, why was it that you were initially hoping to go the entire 100 lap distance, and what made it into the decision to finally come down pit road with 17 to go?
The decision as to why I did it in the first place was because I didn't have anything for Casey unless I had newer tires towards the end. And the decision as to why I finally made it in was because I had a meatball on the right front.
Short and sweet, huh? Now just take us through those final few laps, Bob. Obviously, it was, very adventurous. A little contact there for a caution, but then things opened up for you. I mean, what was your approach there? That final sprint to get it on the podium.
I was running when it sorted out when Casey got knocked out and he got turned, and at that point I was completely happy with just running where I was. And the only reason I ended up making that turn down to the left, I was following Goodboo, sitting fourth just in case a caution came out and I was going to be able to be on the outside, because the outside was as dominant as it was. And we were coming to the white, and I continued to be able to get a run to his inside going into third, coming out of four. I could just turn down and throttle up because I still had right sides on it. And it was just enough that I figured I'd roll the bottom in 1 and 2, deal with the bump, and 3 and 4, I'd try to roll it as much as I could and hope I could do it. But if not, it was a fourth, and I was okay with it. So I was going to keep it out of him because it wasn't worth the third to the fourth for me, but it was something I had to try just for the extra spot.
Well, Bob, that was a ton of fun to watch. You put on a great show for the fans today, and got a third place finish to show for it. So congratulations, and we will see you next week at Thompson.
10-4. Thanks a lot, man. Thank you guys for putting this on, and thanks for everybody racing clean tonight. It was a blast. I don't know. I don't know how I'm actually competing with these guys. One of these days I might actually win one.
Well, congratulations. Looks like we have our first place finisher, our race winner in here for the Fast One Motorsports 100, Kyler Davis. Kyler, all season long you've shown a lot of speed. For various reasons, haven't gotten into that winner's circle just yet, and now tonight the seas kind of part for you. You had a fast car all night, and you were the last one standing at the end of it. How's it feel?
Pretty good for sure. I seem to be in the wrong spots at the wrong time every other race, so it felt good to be up front most of the race this time, especially with Casey and Caden and Bob especially. They're always fast every week, and it was sucks to see, but it was good to see Casey and Caden get into it, for sure.
Yeah, Kyler. Obviously, you've been fast a lot of the year. Obviously, the breaks haven't gone your way, but were you feeling like you finally had some positive vibes there? And how did you manage to hold on at the end with so many good cars breathing down your neck?
Honestly, I didn't know what to expect. I have a pretty hard time saving tires, especially on these longer races. Thank God, me and Ethan have had troubles in the past, past races, always getting into each other, but he raced me clean. There was a couple times he could have bumped me and moved me, but he did it, and he didn't, and it was great, and I couldn't, ask for a better race.
All right, well, Kyler, congratulations. Like we said, it's nice to see you get into victory lane after an up and down season, but you've been here every week of the way, so good to see the guys, that are in here every week with us. When we put this series on, we hope that everybody is in it to from start to finish, and you've been one of those guys. So thank you for that, and we're glad that it's paid off for you here tonight and you're in victory lane.
Absolutely. We thank you guys a bunch for putting this on. Sucks Justin couldn't be here tonight. This is for him. But you guys appreciate everything you guys do.
Well, thank you very much, Kyler, and we will see you next week at Thompson. As for our second place finisher, Ethan Tyrell, he was in here, but we don't see him anymore. So,
yes, Ethan, if you are able to jump back in, we'd love to talk to you. But if not, I mean, a great run for Ethan tonight. You know, bouncing back from trouble early on, was contending for the lead. Unfortunately, ended up having to go to the back, but used a little bit of pit strategy and a fast race car to work his way up to a very impressive second place finish.
Absolutely. So next week, Michael, we are off to Thompson Speedway for 75 laps there at the Connecticut Oval. It's always a fun track, and it's going to be a lot like this race. It's going to be a lot of strategy playing into that one. How long can you make those tires last? When can you make the move at the right time? Can you make the inside work? That's going to be something to watch next week. So excited for that. Don't miss it. Same time, different place, right here, 8 o'clock on the ACT YouTube channel. And if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe. We've not only got all these iRacing events, but we've got other different pieces of content coming out throughout the off season and into the racing season here on our ACT YouTube page. So be sure to subscribe to us here. And this was a fun one, Mike. A lot of fun here tonight. Good race. A little bit bumpy at times, but those who stayed were rewarded with a great finish here this evening.
Indeed, a lot of twists and turns, just a lot of competitive drivers giving it their all. And unfortunately, when you're pushing to the edge, once in a while you end up going slightly over the edge, and that happened in a couple of cases. But overall, just a very hard-fought race, and three very deserving drivers in the top three. And that last thing, we will give you the update. Definitely shuffled up the points unofficially. Casey Beatty's lead over Bob Eldred is down to 8 points. Ooh. After that turn of events in the closing laps of the feature. Trent Goodrow has dropped back to 40 behind, so it looks like a two-man dance at this point, though of course anything can happen. So things are going to be tight here at a pair of 5/8 mile tracks to close it out. Thompson, which is almost, I basically call it's like a Martinsville with banking, is what I would call that. And then North Wilkesboro, which is really just its own animal. Really looking forward to these next two Monday nights as we close out the GossCars.com iACT winter warm-up season.
It's going to be fun, that's for sure. Huge thank you, as always, to GossCars.com. Fast One Motorsports jumping on tonight for the race sponsorship. Huge shout out to them. RKM Setup Shop for putting all the good setups in these cars that allow for these fantastic finishes that we have seen over the course of this season. For Justin Prescott helping put on this series, and Michael Stridesberg here with me in the broadcast booth. I'm Nick Mumley signing off. We will see you next week from Thompson. Stay tuned, everybody, and have a